them out so I know who's in the chat at least.
We are live and we are back. Finally. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. It's great to be back. We've missed doing our live streams, but thanks to our producer, Messi, we are back on track. So welcome in, everybody. I just want to give a shout out to some of you guys. We've got Paul Levi in the house. We've got Vernon Daniels. We love you, Vernon. Hope you're doing fine, my really good friend. We've got Joanne Herring. Hi, Joanne. Baba News. Always good to see Baba. Caramel Fudge, fellow Aussie. Hey, Caramel, I hope you're doing okay. Are you locked down? We are not. Rachel G. Hi, guys. Hi, brothers and sisters. Bill Stegman. Welcome in, Bill. Welcome in. And welcome in anybody that is... Oh, Rayetta Lee. Hey, how are you going from the US of A, South Georgia, where the pipeline has been stopped, and we've got 45% of the American fuel line has been stopped, but that's different. That's another thing altogether. Now, like tonight, here he is. So I was just going to welcome in Growler Thunder. He's in the house. Welcome, Growler.
Thanks, sister, and it's great to be back live streaming again. As you said, we've had a lot of been taken off there for quite a long time, and it's like we're doing it all anew again, you know. So, but yeah, there's a lot to get through.
There is. Yep. Now, I just want to tell everybody what's going on, what we're going to do. So, guys, family, I love to call you my family because we do fellowship. Now, this is going to be some pretty heavy information, guys. I will warn you. And it might not be for everybody, but it would do you all good to really listen and try and take in what Growler's saying, because I'm letting the animal loose tonight. Growler is being loosed out of his cage. And
after
basically, basically, this is going to be his stream, but I will be interjecting and saying anything that the Holy Spirit gives me along the way. It's going to be some very heavy information, but please stay for the good news, the good information at the end, because there's a lot of really, really whack things going on, as we all know, because we're all awake here. I'm sure most of you are. And anybody that comes in new, welcome Tom Muir. Oh, welcome the Watchman. Great to see you here.
Watchman, you're smashing it, bro. I'm seeing you in the chats, mate. Good on you, mate. You just keep smashing it. Good on you.
He's really put some excellent comments out there.
Yes,
we've got Tony's. We've got a new couple of new ones. Tony's Coffee House. Welcome in, and Trisha Kusha Hiriel. Sorry if I said that wrong, darling. Paul Levi's in the house. Welcome, Paul.
Paulie, baby.
Bill Stegman. I made you blue, but I make everybody blue because I love you all. Yeah. Anthony Dickinson, my mate Anthony Shalom,
buddy.
Anthony. Welcome. I've been watching your videos, Anthony, your Facebook stuff. We've got Claudia. Trump One's here. Welcome, Trump One. I've seen you that many times now. You're a moderator.
Hey, Trumpy.
Okay, and so look, anybody else that jumps in, just know that I will mention you in the chat. I'm fairly going to be quiet with this one, guys. And like I said, I'm going to let the animal loose out of his cage tonight. So we have this. There's some pretty heavy information, guys, but don't panic. Okay, you can't have faith and fear don't live together, and I've found that out in my life in the last few months, where I've just been panicking sometimes, and for good reason. I mean, if we lived in the real world and we didn't know the real truth, everybody should be panicking, and they should be looking for a way out. So stay tuned. We're going to give you the information. and then we are going to provide you with what you can do. Okay, we're going to
So,
provide you with help. Okay, Mark
yep, yep.
McGowan, welcome. All right,
Marky,
so
if I can
now,
just quickly say something, just before we
absolutely.
go into it. See, what I find is a lot of people, prophecy watchers and the like, and people who, as we can see, prophecy is jumping off the pages at the moment, and that's why the last 8 weeks, if you have a look what's happened in with Russia and Ukraine, you have a look at China, Taiwan, you have a look at Israel, Iran, you have a look uh, uh, Greece and Turkey, and then you see alliances being formed with Egypt and Ethiopia and Libya and the likes. We could go on and on. So I've really kept quiet for quite a long time because I just wanted to see how this plays out. So if you, I will go through it. We'll go through it in quite detail because I have studied a fair bit of geopolitical influence and instability within the world, and let's say over a 50-year period, a 100-year period, 200-year period. Now, just quickly, I would like to say that, and Beck knows this, I used to work at a defence and trade show here in Australia, and you get to meet all the big people in defence and trade, and you get to see who plays with who and who buys what and who steals from who and who doesn't steal from who, and you can keep going on and on. And uh, as we know that this whole plan if you know what I mean, has been quite a big psyop because if you don't understand, because they're hitting you from different sides. So if you have a look at your geopolitical influence, you have a look at your different warfares, regular warfare, grey zone warfare, asymmetric warfare. So you've got to understand what countries are aligned with what countries, what other, how empires rise and fall, then who takes over. So the last year and a half since this has started, I'll try and get this out here first. Is
Yeah,
mainly
because you
the
cut me off. Yeah, because you cut me right off. You
oh
know that, don't
oh
you?
oh
You did.
she's gonna come. She's gonna come down and punch
I'm
me,
gonna.
mate. I'm dead.
I'm,
I'm
no,
dead.
four b two.
I didn't know I did. I'm sorry. 4v2. Yeah.
Four b
I've
two on
got a
your
big.
head.
I've got a big steel bar here too. You could use that if you want.
Right.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Now, no, listen,
Uh,
just before you go, that's what I
yep.
was going to warn everyone. This
Right.
mightn't be for everybody. This is heavy information. Some of it I can't get my head around, guys, but I know a lot of you men will. But I just wanted to open in prayer.
Yep.
Father in heaven, we love you. We are gathered
Mm,
here as brothers and sisters, as a family. Father, I truly pray for your Holy Spirit to be upon everybody in this
mm,
stream, and that
mm,
everybody is covered no matter where you are, that you
mm,
send the angels from Psalms 91 over every single person listening to this. Father, I know your power is greater. So greater is he that is in us that is in the world. And
mm,
Father, just let this information be of some value to some people. Please, it is hard information. Let it sink in, and give Growler the proper words to say. Don't let him
mm,
go on and on with stuff that's not relevant. And I'm not
mm.
being mean saying that, darling. I'm really
Yes, you are.
praying here.
Yes,
Shush.
I
Now, Father, I love you and I give you this stream completely. I hand it over
mm,
to you,
mm,
that you give
mm,
us the
mm,
words to give our fellow people here, because we realize how important a job this is that we
mm.
do for these people, and
That's
we
right.
just want to fellowship. So please,
Mm,
Father, please be with us when we fellowship at the end. And I love
mm,
you.
mm,
And in
mm.
the name of your Son, the elect one, Yahushua Al-Mashiach, I
Yeah.
give it to you. So be
Mm,
it.
mm,
Okay, thank you. Okay,
mm. Thanks
now,
for that, Claire. That's beautiful.
so everybody, I'm going to hand it over to Growler. If he does start going on too much where I think he's just losing it, I'll pull him up. He
I
knows
get
that.
carried away. Yeah, I know. She always pulls me up, even if I don't say anything. No, I'm
No, you
joking.
don't. I'm going to really get that 4v2 under you. All right,
No,
let's
we're just
go,
having a
let's
joke.
go.
Yeah.
Put your seatbelts on, let's go.
So as I was saying, if you have a look at how the power plays have happened and how everything has shifted. We know that in the UK the lizards have stepped down, and then you have a look what's happened with the Pope, Vicar of Christ has stepped down, and then you have a look at Biden coming in and Trump going down. So basically, the UN is in control now. So you can see a massive geopolitical push towards a communistic, Marxist, green agenda. It's funny because if you have a look at Europe and the EU, they're just about to collapse. Okay, Canada, Australia, UK, America, everyone in the EU, Spain, France, all these countries, all the Western countries and all the Western democracies are now crashing with China, Russia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, all these new powers now are coming up. The old Western system is collapsing. The new communistic system is coming in. So, what I'll be doing is I'll be playing a series of videos first from the Temple Mount and what's happening there, and then I don't really like YouTube for information too much. I'd rather go to the source and go to proper people, and and then we can see how things are shifting. Now, when I do play a guy from Alexander Mercurios, he's not a Christian. He's not a conspiracy theorist. This man is a brain in geopolitical warfare, science, and shifts. I can tell you that right now. And the thing is, what I can do here is he studied it more than me, and he knows more than me, and he can actually consolidate it into let's say a 15-16 minute talk, and I'm going to put something else in the description box as well which will confirm exactly what I'm saying. So now this man is a brain. He's very up to date with everything. So the good thing is he's doing this geopolitical thing, and then I'm going to put the biblical prophetic look, and you can see how the whole geopolitical world is changing, and the shift from Western democracy now coming into the NWO, coming into a communistic one world regime. So no further ado. The first three I'm going to show was from the first day to the second day and to the third day. Now I can tell you right now, I've been very reluctant, and Beck knows this. I've been very reluctant to, like I said, having a look at Ukraine, Russia, China. Yeah, that's right. I didn't want to jump the gun on anything because anything can pile up and blow up at any time. So I mean, like I said, North Korea, old Kimmy's starting to bark the last 2 weeks. So things start to rise. So I wouldn't be surprised if, let's say, China or Russia say, okay, we're going to use our little puppet in North Korea, and he's going to fire something over the US. There's so many ifs and buts. So that's where your asymmetric warfare, grey zone warfare, irregular warfare, counterterrorism warfare, urban warfare, all this sort of stuff comes into play, because they build up strategies, and then what they do is they, out of one strategy, they'll draw a tree. So okay, we can do that, we can do that, we can do that, and we can do that. And they've got 10 different strategies around one main strategy. So they can hit you from either side that they want. So, and as we go through this talk with Alexander Mercurios, I've got a lot of respect. I really don't listen to anyone, and Beck knows this, because I like to do my own study and try and sort this out. You've really got to have a background in how wars are fought and who's been playing with who. It's a massive jigsaw puzzle to actually put together. So, but we're going to go through the Temple Mount. To me, I will just quickly say this. This has never happened before. And if you've got Israeli security forces going into the Temple Mount, going into the mosque with their shoes on, firing stun grenades, rubber-coated steel bullets, breaking up prayers and everything like this, it's just ignited a nuke. It really has. And I will say, and I'm very reserved about this because I didn't want to say anything for the last 8 to 10 weeks of a big build-up around the world. I just didn't want to say anything. I was waiting for a catalyst. I was waiting for a catalyst to go through, and this catalyst has arrived, and that happened at the Temple Mount. And what Israel have done, I'm firmly with Israel. We're firmly with the Father's land. I mean, we go into that, but we'll go into that some other time. We pray for the land and we pray for the real Jews there. That's what we do. It's the Father's land, okay? But we know that the Vatican owns 80%. 80% of Israel. If you have a look at the Dome of the Rock, Vatican created Islam. They created the two sides, the Sunnis and Shiites, so they could fight and war together. It kills more people, creates more division. So people are saying, oh, the temple is not there. Basically, Islam is a creation of the Vatican. So basically, you have a Roman temple sitting on the Temple Mount, and it's been in front of your face for a long, long time. So without further ado, I will say this has been the catalyst, and I'm saying this is the kickoff to full war now. Okay, so if we can just go into the first video. Thanks, mate.
What the? Oh.
Okay, so can we just go into the next one? So this was yesterday, so that was 2 days ago. So we'll go into the next one, and this is yesterday's.
This is crazy. I knew 30 years ago once this started, it was on.
Yeah, sure is.
بدهمش ايانا نصلي، بدناش ايانا، كل يوم بده يصير كوشه، كل يوم بده يصير خبط، كل يوم بده يصير مشاكل، لهم اسبوع بدهمش ايانا نخش جوا. طب ليش؟ امبارح ما خششناش جوا، ليش؟ ليش بيسووا فينا؟ غصب عنا بدنا ننجن، غصب عنا نولع. كل واحد تعال نفس الشيء. طلع كيف بضرب عليك. الله كيف بدنا نعيش؟ كيف بدنا نعيش؟ هذه عيشه، هذه حياه؟ دنيا ودين يا حبايبي. والله شو هذا يا زلمه؟ كلهم مشاكل. طلع كيف واقفين. ضربوا علينا كمان كنابل، مش شايفين حد.
And then we'll go into the next one. So as Messi's loading up the next one, so you can see that it's going night to night. So they're at Ramadan at the moment, so they don't really fight too hard. So, so what's going to happen is I'll discuss this after. Yep.
Tensions are high in Jerusalem as Muslim worshippers continue day after day to clash with Israeli police on the grounds of the Temple Mount in the Old City. It's the site of Al-Aqsa Mosque, one of the holiest sites in Islam. On Saturday night, 80,000 worshippers took to the holy city to mark the most sacred night of the year. Here's more. Clashes again erupted between Palestinian protesters and Israeli police early Sunday morning as Muslim worshippers left the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem after all-night prayers on Laylat al-Qadr, Islam's holiest night.
بدهمش ايانا نصلي بدناش اياهم كل يوم بده يصير كوشه كل يوم بده يصير خبط كل يوم بده يصير مشاكل لهم اسبوع بدهمش ايانا نخش جوا طب ليش امبارح ما خششناش جوا ليش بيسووا فينا غصب عنا بدنا ننجن.
At least 10 Palestinians were injured in the clashes at one of the entrances to the Temple Mount, where the mosque is located. Some 80,000 worshippers attended the all-night prayers at the mosque, and the clashes began after a short period of relative calm as people left the compound. Earlier, Israeli police blocked traffic at the entrance to Jerusalem, where dozens of buses carrying Muslim worshippers were on their way to pray at the mosque. Police say they had received information someone trying to enter the city had plans for an attack, the closures causing hours of traffic jams.
אני מבינה את הטענה שלהם, הם אומרים, אנחנו רק באים להתפלל, אז למה עוצרים אותנו? אבל למעשה, מה שאני מבינה שהרקע, וזה להבנתי הצנועה, הרקע לעצירה הוא א' בעובדה שהיו ימים של מהומות, וגם היו מהומות באזור הר הבית ובירושלים בכלל, ולכן המשטרה כנראה חששה שהמוני בני אדם, הרבה יותר מאשר כל שנה שמגיעים, זה עוד יגביר את הלחץ. אבל הלחץ שיצרו יצר עוד יותר לחץ.
The renewed violence following a stormy weekend in Jerusalem as Palestinian youths threw stones, lit fires, and tore down police barricades in the streets leading to the Old City. This as officers on horseback and in riot gear used stun grenades and water cannons to repel them.
وهي احنا متعودين على الاحتلال يعني ان اخذوا عده دور هان طريقه غير قانونيه وبدعوا ان هاي الدور لهم واذا احنا ما وقفناش مع هاي الفئه من الناس راح يلف هذا الاشي على داري وعلى داره وعلى داره وعلى كل فلسطيني عايش هون.
At least 90 people were injured Saturday night, including minors and a 1-year-old, and 14 people were taken to the hospital. Israeli police said at least one officer was hurt as well.
So, yeah. So you can see, I mean, for 14 years when Ariel Sharon was in, he really provoked the Temple Mount, and he went up there with his bodyguards, and he tried to get up there. He was not even halfway up, and they were nearly starting war then. So if you have a look, what's happened right now, there. I mean, this is going to pay off all the Muslims because it's the third holiest site. Saudi Arabia take control of the Temple Mount at the moment. Saudi Arabia do, and I'll be discussing them later on with Alexander Mercurios. He'll go through that, and I'll break that down and show you who's got the control over Temple Mount and who's going to move in. So what they're doing is, if you see all the banked up traffic, Ramadan is very important to them, as we know that. They're a bunch of mads, I can tell you that. But there's lovely people in there as well. But we know their way of thinking. So what they're doing is they're cutting off they're setting up checkpoints everywhere on highways and everything, so people cannot celebrate Ramadan, which will actually pee them off even more. So you can see how it's inflamed, and like I said, with these people, with the Israeli security forces going in with shoes into the mosque, firing, everything like that, it's a done deal. It's just a done deal now, and crap's on. It's that simple. Like I said, I've been very reluctant to say, well, where is it going to go off, or is it going to go off? We need a catalyst for something, and this is the catalyst. That's what I can say. It is the catalyst, and I think, Messi, we might have one more. We might have one more from France. 24 News. Yeah, and then I'll go into this.
Gaza fired 2 rockets on southern Israel. According to the Israeli army, one was intercepted with the Iron Dome. The other one fell in an open field. Now, it's unclear if this is going to signal an escalation from militants in Gaza, particularly Hamas, whose leaders have been threatening to, make Israel pay a heavy price for what is happening here in Jerusalem. Accusations of excessive force by police, and then, of course, that very controversial court eviction notice that was given to a number of families in the Arab neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah. Now, the families had appealed to the Supreme Court, which tomorrow, Monday, was set to give a decision, but wisely that has been put off for at least 30 days, given the tensions here, fears that perhaps if the Supreme Court also denies that appeal, things could really spin out of control. Here in Jerusalem, there are still some clashes going on around the Damascus Gate and in that neighborhood, Sheikh Jarrah. And in an unusual incident, there were clashes outside the Hebrew University. That is one of Israel's most prestigious universities, located in a neighborhood called French Hill, which is near some of the Arab neighborhoods. A real clash there breaking out, which really we don't usually see in these kinds of conflicts or outbursts of violence. A number of people injured, a number of people arrested. We'll have to see what comes through the night. Both sides really don't want an escalation here, but it's really, one can never predict here what may happen overnight.
Now, in addition to all of this, there's a parade for Jerusalem Day planned for this Monday, but I understand that there's some question as to whether Israeli police will allow this to go forward, given all the tensions. What are we expecting to happen?
Right. Well, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has a very important decision to make tonight. He hasn't made it yet, and that is whether, number one, the parade will go on at all. Number two, if it does happen, will they change the route? And that is because each year on Jerusalem Day, which is a celebration of Israel having captured East Jerusalem during the Six-Day War, there is a march that goes through parts of Arab neighborhoods and the Old City, led often by right-wing nationalists. It's very provocative. And the question is whether the Prime Minister is going to allow them this year to march, given what's happening, because the chances that they will be attacked and this will escalate the violence are quite high. It's important to note, of course, Netanyahu is fighting to hold on to power. He lost the mandate to form a government. And some people have said his focus really hasn't been on this outburst of violence. And really the political echelon at large hasn't been focusing on it. But tonight, a key decision, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to hear if that march will go forward.
Okay, so as you can see, this is, to me, this is what I've observed, and this is what I've studied and gone through. You can actually see how this has been set up perfectly. So if you, the start of Ramadan finishes on May the 12th, and then you've got May the 13th. So every time after Ramadan is finished and they have their feasts and everything like that, they're going to come out and party. That's what I think. And have a look at that date, May the 13th, and then you've got May the 14th. Okay, so that was the creation of Israel. So if you have, right. if you have a look at that, and of course, Israel always has their Israel parade, they have their military shows and everything like that. Is it for the Palestinians, for all this carnage to happen on the Temple Mount? Wouldn't that be their target, May 14th? This is what I'm thinking. This is what I mean, because they want to make Israel pay. They really want to make Israel pay. So what is the best time? What is the best time to do it? May 14th. And if you have a look at the number, May 13th. I mean, we know 13 is an ungodly number. They're all the Father's numbers, but they steal the numbers anyway for their own cause. So you can see war's already been declared, and they're going to really hit back now. They're really going to hit back. That is what I've come up with. That is what I've come up with. The Palestinians. I mean, now that's going to pee the hell out of Iran. It's going to give Iran a free shot. This is what I think, and from what I've come across, it's going to give Iran a free shot. Oh, you've hit the Temple Mount, you've hit our brothers, you've done this, you've done that. So that's going to give Iran a green light. That's going to give all your Syrian proxy forces, all your Iranian proxy forces fighting in Syria on front to align themselves and to come down as well. Now, we do know in June as well, I'll just quickly throw this in here, that Israel do have a massive exercise going, and they've called up all their reserves, and it is the biggest military simulation war game, and they said they are simulating an invasion from the north, and they're simulating an invasion from the south, and we know how biblical that is. So if you have a look at your alliances, let's say we know that Iran is in with Syria, and we'll go through this with Alexander Mercurius. So if Iran's in with Syria, Russia's in with Syria, China's in with Syria, Egypt's from the south, and Greece has been a major part in getting Libya and Ethiopia onto the Egyptian side. So you can see that that coalition down south forming, and you can see the coalition forming with China, Russia, Persia, and Saudi Arabia, as we will go into as well. So what this is doing, as you can see, the West's military and political influence is really waning. You see how they've drawn out of, they've really, how would I put it? A lot of their forces, they're doing European Defender 21, which is just a simulated build-up against Russia. But what they've done is they've lost a lot of influence in Europe. Now they're losing a lot of influence in the Middle East. And you can see Russia, China, Iran, Egypt, Turkey is a wild card, but I'll discuss that after. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't surprise me if Russia take Turkey and then they come down. So you can see how it's all influencing. Jerusalem is your hot pot. You've got your alliances from all other countries that aren't aligned with Western countries, all coming down from the north, alliances from the south. And you can see, as I said, the US influence now in the Middle East is waning very, very hard, because Saudi's going to come over with Russia. And that's another thing that I will be talking about in a few minutes, but I will go through the Russian military-industrial complex. I'll go through the Israeli military-industrial complex, and you can see what companies from other worlds are actually coming into play and having a slice of the pie. So, yes, sister, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if everybody remembers, and you might not because so much has happened, but a year ago I was warning, 1 year ago, I don't know, it was the Holy Spirit, I was warning that May this year something was going to kick off. Now,
yes,
I warned that a year ago. I am no prophetess, no way. I am just his dirt. But I tell you, I knew, I told everyone, May. So, okay, here we go. And here we go.
So just quickly before, I'll just get Messi to pull up the next one. Just a few quick stats. And as I've said in other live streams before, we know that all roads lead to Rome. The Jesuits are the military order. I call them the Society of Judas. because that's what they are. And they're in charge. I mean, a lot of people in the military know all Middle Eastern wars are papacy wars and genocides in Africa and that sort of thing. It's a big sacrifice for them. You know, the more carnage that they can create, the happier they are. So here's some quick stats. So the Jays actually use the US military to get most of their jobs done. So the USA, since their inception, have started 171 wars out of 220. 171 wars out of 220 around the world. Now, the US has spent 220 years of war for the last 239 years. Now, you can see how relentless they are and what they want to do. So I'll just quickly go through that again. So out of 171 wars, 220 were started by the US, by Rome using the US military to get their dirty jobs done, because Rome is funding the US military big time behind the scenes to the value of trillions and trillions and trillions. So I don't know. No one really knows the budget. I mean, let's say they spend $800 billion on the budget. That's only for logistics and pay. And then you've got running costs, and you've got running costs of the military. You've got logistical exercises going on. Then you've got procurement of air, land, sea assets, naval forces, land forces, air forces, and that sort of thing. So you can see how big it is. It's just a machine upon machine, and they've spent 222 years as a damn number again, 222. And we can,
gosh,
and we can,
back better, 222.
That's right. So they've spent 222 years since their since US became a country, became a nation, out of 239 years. So they're only missing. So they've only had 7 years of peace. 222 years of war and 7 years of peace. Have a look at that.
Wow.
So yeah. So
Wow.
it goes to show. So, see, a lot of people don't see what wars, other wars. People think it's wars always have to be kinetic. No, they don't have to be kinetic. Like I said, you go to regular warfare, counter-terrorism warfare, asymmetric warfare. You go through grey zone warfare. You go through cyber warfare, and the list just goes on and on and on. I mean, and you can go through digital warfare. You can go through political warfare. You can go through monetary warfare. It just keeps going and going. So you can see how many tools at their disposal, that they can wreck nations, that they can do this, they can do that. I mean, your silent wars are your deadly wars. So if you do go into your geopolitical side of it as well, it's designed to affect governments, and then that goes on to the people, and then the people don't even know they're being waged, having war waged against them. See, this is the thing, and like I said, all wars are not kinetic. They really aren't. And as we go through the Israeli military-industrial complex, I just wanted to show you what Turkey did, because especially in when I used to work down at the Defence and Trade Show, we had Turkish military-industrial complex guys, Rokistan and TAI, and they're all defence firms, air, land and sea. And I did 1 year, I did take care of guys from Elbit Systems and IAL Alta, which are the biggest defence firms in Israel and especially in the world. And they are ruthless people. They are just absolutely ruthless. They've got a job, they've got a business to do.
That's
and if you have a look at the sphere of influence and the political power and the military power and everything else to go with it, if you have a look at the power in their hands, it's just utterly amazing. It really is. I mean, compared to the fathers, I mean, all he has to do is just go, and that's it, and they're dead. You know, that's the power of the father, and that's just number one. But as we're on this plane, and as we can see, you see how powerful the system is, and it's very, very hard to fight against. And we can only fight that through spiritual warfare and with the power of Yeshua and the Father. and
Yes.
that is our only way of winning. And that's the only because I mean, even when you're asleep, you don't even know you're under attack from space warfare systems. These things are just amazing. I mean, as it says, we don't fight against flesh and blood. We fight against principalities in high places, and all know that these space defense weapon systems, your rods from God, and all your ESATCOM systems and kinetic kill vehicles, and all this sort of stuff. No one knows. 99% don't even know they're being under attack. So the best thing is because it's given me an insight, because I've studied it most of my life and I've worked with the guys in the industry, and you realize how small you are, but then on the other hand, you think, well, I'm saved and I'm under the power of Yeshua, and that just takes care of everything. So that's your only defense against this sort of stuff. I mean, even when you're asleep, you can be attacked by microwaves from ESAT systems, or anything like that.
I worry about having my phone if I can't sleep and I put some, rain stuff onto me. I worry about having that under my pillow.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
that's causing me not to sleep because of,
that's true.
I know exactly what you're saying. Correct.
And I'll just quickly go on. They've got much better systems, and we've covered TR3Bs and the real sort of like secret space program as far as.
So what do you have for us next?
What I have is who's playing with who, and who's getting paid and how much they're making.
We don't really need to know how much they're making, but yeah.
Yeah. So if we go to the next one, thanks, Mess. You're a legend, mate.
Mess.
Okay, so
everybody give a shout out, please, to the messy gentleman. Could you please just give him a thank you, because without him, this doesn't happen. We love you,
absolutely.
Messy.
That's it. So now, a lot of people don't know that the Turkish have got their own military-industrial complex, basically, so they can take care of air, land, sea, SAT systems, and the whole lot. So if you have 7 Turkish defense firms listed among the world's top 100. So if we just get see, this is the thing. So what they've done is they've gotten TOT transfers from Russia, from China, technology transfers from China. They get it from Russia. They get it from the US. Now, Turkey was on the F-35 program, and they were actually cancelled 2 years ago. Now, they were running 6 jets based out at Luke Air Force Base, which is an F-35 training wing, because they decided to buy systems from Russia, the S-400, S-300, and other surface-to-air missile weapons platforms. Turkey, the US cancelled the F-35 program on Turkey. They were running 6 jets out at Luke. So what they did is they absolved them back into the USAF training wing, the United States Air Force training wing at Luke. And then what they did is they resold those 6 jets to Greece. So that's why there's not going to be a TOT transfer to Turkey now. So that's why they've got their own defense industry. So I mean, there'd be countries. I mean, Singapore might be secretly selling things some technology to Turkey. Pakistan might be going around the back door, going to Turkey. Hey, there you go. And that's how the defense industry works. It's the most lethal. It is the most brutal industry to be in. So I'll just quickly read a few things here so you can get some sort of understanding, and you can see what sort of systems that they use and who plays with who. So the number of Turkish companies in Defense News Top 100, which is regarded as one of the most prestigious defense industry lists in the world, has increased to 7. Defense News Top 100, published every year by the US-based military publishing company, Defense News Magazine, and I've talked with these guys at Defense News Magazine. They're based in the US, and they come down to the Defence and Trade Show in Australia. Very bunch of nice guys, but get them on the wrong side and they won't be your friends. So Defence News Magazine, and based on the previous years of defence sales, was announced recently on the magazine's website. The magazine compiles data from companies, annual reports by companies, analysts, research by the Defence News and International Institute for Strategic Studies. So you've really, it's very important to do strategic studies as well. So that sort of like helps you in the geopolitical arena. 7 Turkish defence companies, Aslan, Turkish Aerospace Industries, TAI, BMC, Rokistan, Defence Technologies, Engineering and Trade Inc., STM, FNSS, and Haviland ranked 48th, 53rd, 89th, 91st, 92, 98th, and 99th on the list, respectively. While FNSS and Haviland have entered the list for the first time, Aslan has joined the top 50 for the first time by moving up 4 spots. So, having boosted its performance with the projects it has undertaken both at home and abroad, Aslan continued to rise on the list from 93rd spot by increasing its defence revenue to 2.1 billion last year from 1.7 billion 2018, with a 21% increase. So, if you have a look, and it says 2018, that was the time basically when, and they've increased they've increased their profits and profit margins from 1.7 with a 21% increase. So what they're doing, that tells you that someone's been kicked off a program, and whatever technology have transferred that these guys got through the F-35 program, other countries want that technology, so they're coming in through the back door. So that's already been done. So Aslan has achieved this success with products developed for solutions based on research and development. Activities in areas such as comm systems, radar, electronic warfare systems, electro-optical systems, avionic systems, defense and weapon systems, command control systems, and naval systems. So I'll let you guys read here. So TAI, which is one of the top Turkish defense companies. If we just keep scrolling down, if that's okay. And now Rokistan here, they've got big stalls at defense and trade shows around the world. So Rokistan has got a lot of technology from Russia. And once Turkey was kicked off the F-35 program, Russia flew over the next day, and they said, well, we can give you a TOT transfer. Just give us some of your insights of what the F-35 program was doing, and we're going to give you S-400 missile system, surface-to-air missile system, surface-to-surface. We'll give you a great rate on your Su-30 MKK fighters or Su-33s, whatever you like. So it's an information war. It's a technology information war, which boosts up the military-industrial complex. And whoever wants to set up a complex within their own country, you've got all these big countries saying, "Okay, you give us that, and we'll set you up. We'll set you up a military-industrial complex with company, and then we'll give you that, and if you give us this." So they're a bunch of ferrets. Going into the kill. So that's how they work. They get the honeypots to come in from US, China, everything is posing as whoever they want to be. You've even got top US people actually working for Rokistan under another name, and they're actually passing information to Russia, and then that person's passing information to China. So this is how it works. It's a brutal industry. An industry, if you're at the top, you don't want to really be in. So if we can just go to the next one, mate, that would be great. Now, this is the Israeli defense companies, and these guys are just as big as the US companies, and they're somewhat bigger in other areas as well. Who have we got? Okay, yes, I looked after these guys. Just 3 of them, though. I'll just go through things. If we can just start from the top there, Mess. Sorry, mate. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. Just the blue part there for the time being. Thanks, mate. What their specialities are, you can click in there, guys. I really implore you to do your own study and see what these guys do, and then you'll get a much better picture of the military and political spectrum that these guys work within. So the development of advanced defence and intel electronics, including sensors, radars, electronic warfare and comm systems. So as you can see, air, space, land, naval, and the rest in SIGINT, EW warfare, comm intelligence, C4I systems, space and SAR radars. So if you have a look at the US Space Force and that sort of thing, these guys are working exactly with Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed, General Atomics, all these different companies, and these are the things that people don't see, because they see kinetic warfare being fought with fast jets, land and sea systems, but they don't see the top layer of things and what's actually happening under the dome. I like to say that, and so I suggest you guys, really do your study and actually educate yourselves. I really want to say, don't just go off an article. Please don't go off just an article from Yahoo News or something like this. This is the things you need. You need a base, and you need steps in strategy. See how these guys work, see what sort of defense systems are being used, see who's playing with what, study the geopolitical arena for the last 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, and you can start to see a pattern happening. These guys are very big, but the next guys that we will go to are Elbit Systems. I have to take care of 10 of these guys down at the defense show, and these guys are just these guys are ruthless people, and I forgot the name of the actor saying they're bad people. Bad people. And so if we go into Elbit Systems, the next one, that would be great.
I had to have a break.
Now, Elbit Systems are the big boys. From Israel. They have another 20 different front companies working under different names and in different countries. So this is how they operate. It's like your big companies, your big defense companies in America. Let's say Lockheed, and then they'll go into the cyber warfare. Another 4 companies operating in cyber, and then they'll set up another 4 companies. They're dealing in land. The others another 4 companies are dealing in air, and that is how they make money. So they try and strangle the market and strangle everyone else out of there. So I don't think we had the Elbit Systems, that I can put that in later. So the next thing I want to go through, and this is Alexander Mercurios and with Alex Christophou, and these guys are bouncing off each other. Now, everything that we went through from the Temple Mount and everything that you see now is basing on the geopolitical shift here now that's happened since the last year and a half. Everyone's been complaining, we don't have a democracy, we're in communism. Well, we sure are. So all I can say is these guys are just utter brains, and they really know what's going on. They're doing the heavy lifting for me. It'd probably take me about 50 minutes, and these guys take about 15 minutes. So, and I'll stop it from time to time, and then these guys are just giving us the geopolitical world, and I'm going to to the best of my ability, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in a biblical prophetic context so you can see the change that's happening.
Alexander, we have some big news with regards to Saudi Arabia and Syria. And it looks like Saudi Arabia will be opening up diplomatic channels and reopening their embassy in Damascus. This is huge news. We've done a lot of videos on Syria, and we've also documented the plight of Syria with the sanctions, the runaway inflation, the economic situation, the fact that the U.S. occupies Syria's oil resources to this day. But it looks like Saudi Arabia is going to start talking with Syria, and that's a good thing. And maybe it signifies that for all the problems that Syria is going through and how the West is trying to break Syria's back, Syria continues to fight and is trying to figure out alternative solutions to stand on its 2 feet and find a way out of this sanctions war and occupation.
It is
that has been going through for how long now? 8 years, 10 years.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. I mean, it would go all the way back to 2012, but of course, the sanctions war was intensified massively, basically by Mike Pompeo with the so-called Caesar sanctions last year. And of course, the current administration is continuing with those sanctions and in fact has, if anything, intensified them. But what this all shows is that Syria step by step is prevailing. The Saudis are patching things up with Syria. They're moving towards patching up things with Syria for a number of reasons. Firstly, they're being pressed to do it by the Russians. And the Saudis need good relations with Russia because they need Russian help to keep the oil markets stable. So that is a major factor, and it's not one that should be underestimated. Secondly, Syria has started to adjust and win back ground in relation to the sanctions war. It's been able to negotiate with Iran and Russia, so it gets oil now by Iranian tankers from Iran, and an increasing number of these tankers are now going to Syria by convoy, and those tankers are being protected by Russian warships. And I understand that despite an incident a few days ago when there was a drone attack on a tanker which was not going in convoy and did not have a Russian escort, oil is now reaching Syria increasingly from Iran. And the Russians are providing Syria with flour and foodstuffs directly from Russia. And it seems a third country, we don't know which one, we can guess, is now supplying Syria with medical products. So all of this is happening. There? So there is.
So as you can see, Saudis coming into Syria now, and my take on this is Mohammed bin Salman is the covenant, making the covenant with death, and that's what Israel will do, make the covenant with Mohammed bin Salman, because they are a full Muslim country. So now you can see Russia owned 70% of Syria at the moment, with Turkey having bits here and bits there. Basically, the US is being kicked out because the Turkish and US oil fields were blown up about 2 months ago, and we saw that on the news. Now, the third country he's talking about here is China. Now, China's bringing in medical supplies. What they're trying to do is prop Syria up, and you can see that new alliance coming into Syria. So you can see China, Russia from the north, and then you've got Iran, which is definitely against Israel, Iran, which is definitely against the UAE, and you can see this alliance starting to happen. And with the alliance, as I was talking about before, is Ethiopia, Libya, Egypt, and that's why in June this year, Israel will be conducting a full military exercise of an invasion from the north and an invasion to the south. So you can see all these communistic countries coming into Syria, and this is how it's going to play. So we'll just keep going.
Is a stabilization of the situation in Syria. So the Saudis are looking at all of this and they're saying to themselves, well, Syria is coming back. Assad is clearly winning this war. Do we really want to be his enemy indefinitely? Doesn't that play into the hands of our enemy, Iran, which that way is able to strengthen its alliance with Syria? Surely, if Syria is an Arab country, then we ought to find some way to speak with the leadership in Syria in order to try to draw it away from Iran. And I suspect that's partly what this is about. The other thing is that the Saudis, even though they're patching up to some extent their relations with Erdogan, they remain very hostile to Erdogan in Turkey for all kinds of reasons. They see Erdogan as a threat to Saudi Arabia's claim to be the leader of the Sunni Muslim world. And they want, therefore, to balance out Turkish influence in the Western Middle East, in Syria specifically. So that's why the Saudis are edging towards doing that. But be absolutely clear, it will be a game changer, because the whole conflict in Syria was initially predicated, or the actions the Western powers took against Syria were initially predicated on the fact that Syria was supposedly in conflict with the Arab League, the League of Arab States, led by Saudi Arabia, which had said that the Syrian government was this wicked government that needed to be overthrown, and which expelled Syria from the Arab League, and which closed the embassy, the Saudi and other Gulf states embassy in Damascus. So what we're seeing is that whole thing is starting to reverse, and if the United States persists with its policies against Syria, then it risks being left high and dry.
Okay,
so if we can
here's
just
a
stop
quote
there.
from Joshua.
So as Alexander has said, you can see the whole geopolitical shift. And as I said earlier, the US is losing its power in the EU countries in Europe, and now the US is losing power and influence in the Middle East area. Now, if we go to the prophecies of the last days, which we are in, US is not there to help Israel. So you can see the US getting pushed out of Europe and the US getting pushed out of the Middle East. So this lines up perfectly with prophecy, saying that no US, Israel are going to have to act alone, because it says that biblically in prophecy. So you can actually see that that's why Israel will be on their own. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it most likely will happen. That for them to totally take out the US, it's going to be Russia, China, or whoever else is going to have to take out the US. So Russia, China, Iran, Egypt, all these countries don't have a stumbling block. US is out of the way. We can come down quickly and do what we want to take Israel. Because if you have a look at the resources that Israel have in the Golan Heights, you have a look at the oil, you have a look at the gas, and because Syria has basically 70-80% has been decimated, and the only thing that's left standing is Damascus. So if Israel is saying, okay, we can't rely on the US, we've got to go it alone, we have China, Russia, Iran, Egypt, everyone else that against us, we're going to have to take out Damascus. And that is after what happens at the Temple Mount, or let's say sometime this year. I'm not putting a date on it. I don't like to put dates on anything. I mean, Israel could take out Damascus in the next minute, or they could do it in 6 months, or they can do it in 8 months. We don't know, so we can't put a time frame on it. So you can see that Israel now, will be on their own, but it doesn't matter because the Father will be taking care of that, and they will know that Yeshua HaMashiach is Lord, because you have a look how small Israel is, and Israel will prevail against all these countries. So if we just keep on that, mate. Thank you.
Landis, and he says there's a Twitter quote. He said Saudi officials met with Assad in Syria, set to reopen embassy. Report says no confirmation of this for one paper. Rai al-Yum. U.S. is talking to Iran, so KSA might as well talk to Assad and figure out how to decrease Iranian influence. The U.S. won't. So I think he's saying the U.S. won't talk with Assad. And it leads me to my question, which is, there was a time when John Kerry, we have photos of John Kerry having dinner with Assad and his wife, John Kerry and his wife. And there was a time when the U.S. engaged with Syria, as did Turkey. And is it fair to say that Syria, by going after Syria, Obama going after Syria, is the catalyst that is driving the U.S. out of the Middle East, and over time will be seen as the fatal U.S. foreign policy action that drove the U.S., that diminished the U.S.'s power in the Middle East and maybe globally as well? Because if there was one leader that they should have engaged, that they did engage with, and they should have continued to engage with, logic would say Assad, a secular leader, a doctor, a Western educated leader. Once again, get through all the ridiculous, mainstream media BS about him, how they want to portray him, and let's look at the facts. He is a secular leader. He protects all worships, all faiths. He's a Western educated leader. He speaks perfect English. I mean, there's one leader that they could have engaged with, the US, the UK, France. It would have been Assad, but instead, I think the point that Landis is making, maybe he's making this point, is that the US won't and the West won't. They shot themselves in the foot, and now look at them. Now Russia's the big dog in the Middle East, and China's the big dog in the Middle East.
It is. Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. Can I just say, I mean, whatever you think about Assad, and, there's no doubt at all that he's incredibly ruthless and tough man. I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that, his military have done all sorts of, very tough and ruthless things in Syria. But he's also a highly rational man. You only have to read his interviews to see that. If you want to compare them with someone like, say, Saddam Hussein, it is darkness and light. I mean, Assad is somebody you can reason with. Saddam Hussein, by the way, you never could. And it's completely different. And you're, I think, absolutely right, by the way, that it was Syria, the Syrian war, which was in the end a disaster. I mean, Iraq was a bad blow. It caused a big blow to US prestige. But going after Syria was the greatest folly, because it meant that Assad was forever antagonized. I mean, he's never going to trust the US again. He's never going to trust the Western powers again. And also, he prevailed. The US threw everything they had at him, short of invasion. The reason they didn't invade was because Assad was able to work with all the diplomacy to prevent it happening. He was able to bring in the Russians, keep the Iranians there, play with all of these assets. He did it, we've got to say this, with immense skill, a fact which doesn't get acknowledged. And the result was that the US has been seen to fail, and fail disastrously in Syria. And
can we just pause it there? Thanks, mate. Sorry. So the thing is, if you have a look at China, you have a look at Russia, you have a look at Turkey, you have a look at the US, what they do is they set up proxy forces through PMCs, which are private military contractors. Now, all these private military contractors are run by the agencies and private defense firms, that go private. And so what they do, they create war, which displaces people. Then they recruit those people to fight the proxy wars for their countries. So let's say you've got the PKK, a factional fighting force up north. Now the PKK, they run drugs, they run guns, they're into human trafficking through Turkey. That's why you saw an influx of the Syrians going up through Turkey. Then they funnel those people into Europe and sell them as prostitutes or slaves and whatever they want to sell them as. And so life's cheap for these people just to get their wars fought. So this is, you've got 200 different factional proxy forces from Russia, China, US, all fighting each other. And you can see Assad is stuck right in the middle, and he's being used as a puppet. He doesn't know. Whoever throws more money at him, okay, you do that and you do this. So you can see that he's being used as a puppet. Now, as I said, if you have a look at how they do it, you have a look how Islam's created, and everything, all roads lead to Rome. All Middle Eastern wars, most Middle Eastern wars are papacy wars. So you can see the level of influence from any country is just so high, it's not funny. So let's say Russia want to set up forces, proxy forces, US want to set up proxy forces. Everything comes from Rome. Rome will be saying, okay, US, you need to set up these companies here, you need to set up these companies, we want 2 million slaves or prostitutes over in this country, create a problem. This is how they work, and that's how Russia works. So it's all about conquering and divide and conquer, and to exploit for natural resources, for power plays, for geopolitical power plays, the whole lot. So this is how warfare works. Like I said, it can be fought through electronic means, it can be fought through political means, resource means, grey zone means, asymmetric means, you name it. So it just keeps going like that. So if we can just keep going with that, mate. So.
A crisis in the Middle East. Now, Donald Trump, sorry to come back to this. I know some people don't like us saying this. Donald Trump sensed this. He wanted to end Obama's Syria adventure. He could see that it was wrong. But it was Obama who started it, and all those people in Washington who prevented Trump from calling a stop to it. And now we see the result. We see a realignment, Saudi Arabia mending fences with Syria. I'm sure it's going to happen, by the way. We'll see Syria reintegrated into the Arab League. At that point, we will see all the Arab states starting to say that US troops should leave Syria. At that point, the US troops will leave Syria, and the US's position in the Middle East will be dealt another major blow, and probably, quite possibly, a terminal one.
What do you make of Saudi Arabia acting so independently of the US by doing this? I mean, this is a huge signal, isn't it? A huge signal from Saudi Arabia, kind of telling the US, you know what, Biden, we just don't. Once again, I hate to come back to this. We don't take Biden seriously, guys. We need to start looking elsewhere. And I think that's what they're doing.
I think that's exactly what they're doing. I mean, they see, first of all, that the United States can't get its act together with Iran. It's finally decided to sit down with Iran and negotiate with them. It hasn't really discussed that with countries like Saudi Arabia at all. So the Saudis have seen that. They've also seen the way the US can't resist getting onto a high horse with, posing, engaging in virtue signaling with Saudi Arabia itself. So we had all those statements a few weeks ago from the administration about the Khashoggi affair. And then, of course, they didn't dare impose any sanctions. So they provoked and antagonized MBS without doing anything against him. So unsurprisingly, MBS and the other princes, what they see in the United States is a United States that is both unfriendly and weak. What a combination. So, of course, they're starting to act independently. And one of the steps they're now taking is to forge these closer relations with Syria, which, of course, undermine the whole direction of US foreign policy. You're absolutely right. Under earlier administrations, this would never have happened. If Donald Trump was in the White House, in full control, it wouldn't have happened. With the present administration, it is.
Yeah. Mark my words, on a geopolitical level, we're seeing stuff happen with the Biden administration that I never thought we would see happen. I mean, things are really changing because countries are seeing the Biden administration and they're saying, we got to explore options.
Absolutely. So it is a.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. I'm just saying that's what they're doing. I'm not saying either way.
Absolutely. I mean, but you are entirely right about this. We've seen U.S. authority in the Middle East is breaking down. It's falling apart at extraordinary speed, as you correctly say, to the extent that any country, is taking its place. It's Russia. But to be very clear, Russia will never exercise the kind of dominance in the Middle East that the U.S. used to have. I mean, that's impossible. That's inconceivable. But at least they're talking to everybody. At least they're the people go to speak to, because the Russians, have a skillful diplomacy there, and they've got assets
So just stop
ground,
there.
and they know how to use them. The US is failing.
So, as he's saying, he can't see Russia dominating, and as I'll be putting another video in the description box, China has signed a full agreement with Russia. So that's going to bring China and Russia together, which is going to make them an awesome power. So they're going to work in concert with each other, and as we know in the end times, the 200 million man army, and we already know that China's already got 200 million men army. So they're going to collaborate, Russia and China. They're going to be, because as we can see in the Western political influence of the Western political influence sphere in Europe, Western Europe has collapsed, UK has collapsed, US has collapsed, Australia's collapsed, everything. So now you can see this alliance moving, and once China and Russia do come, well, they already are together, they become a massive, potent fighting force, and Russia and China will share military equipment together. As you heard him say before, China are actually bringing in medical supplies, logistical equipment, and Russia's bringing in military equipment, and they're all emerging. They're all merging together. So Russia's going to take care of that side. China's going to take care of that side. Iran's going to take care of that. Egypt's going to take care of that. And I would suspect in the next 2 or 3 months that Jordan will align themselves with the Russians as well. That's just that's just what my thinking is. Because Israel won't have any friends, which we know is prophetic anyway. And like I said, now you've got Saudi Arabia joining in as well. So if we just keep going.
There, it's failing in Europe. That's what all this de-escalation is. I mean, to be very clear about de-escalation with Russia, it's the US that's now calling for it, because it's sensing that its game against Russia isn't playing out the way it wanted to. And at the same time, even as it does that, it's provoking Russia at the same time, just as it can't give up on its policies in Syria, which have led to this outcome. And in China, in the Pacific, it's drifting into a confrontation with China that it hasn't really thought through, and it isn't.
You just stop there. Sorry.
At the moment.
Now, if we have a look at, if we go to another sphere of influence that China's creating, now we're having a look at China and Taiwan. That's going to go at any time. I'm not putting a date on it. I don't like to do that. Now, if you have a look at the where China is and where Taiwan is. Taiwan's just like a little pebble off the coast. Now, in between China and Taiwan, they've got the deepest water in between there. Now we know with the South China Sea, the way China are putting up all their bases around the South China Sea, that takes care of all the sea lane trade routes. They can stop anything that they want, and my guess would be what China want to do and why they want to take Taiwan is because they don't like an independent country that they call their own country. Just in between China and Taiwan, you've got the deepest water, deepest channel. Chinese subs are going to use that because it's you've got Taiwan protecting it in the middle behind. So you've got China and Taiwan. You've got the deep trench here, and they're going to hide their subs in there. So they're going to take Taiwan, and they're going to use Taiwan as a buffer, as a second buffer zone to fight the Americans in the South China Sea. Now we've all seen the Queen Elizabeth II frigates from the Netherlands, from France, from Japan, from Australia, and there's been big war drums here in Australia with China, but I'll discuss that in another live stream. And so you can see there's going to be a war there. That would be my guess. There's going to be a war there while Russia, China, Iran take down the Middle East, the Middle East side. So strategically, you can see how it's being set up, and it's being set up to a T. And as Alexander has just said, and I've said before, the US influence now in Europe, Western Europe, it's just diminishing, and it's just diminishing at a phenomenal rate. That's why America want to try and talk with Russia and negotiate with China, but it's just a total joke. Nothing will happen. It'll just get worse and worse. So if we just keep South China Sea in your back, in the back of your mind, so I really think something's going to kick off there too when something happens in the Middle East. So it's going to be fought on a 2 or 3 pronged front. So if we can just keep going.
Even though China really is a genuine challenge. So it's all happening at turbocharged speed. It's to a degree that I could never have imagined a few years ago, that you sense everywhere the United States in disarray and its adversaries increasingly taking advantage and of growing signs of a US retreat. I mean, I remember other times when the US suffered big blows. I mean, I remember the sort of sense of shock, at the time of the fall of South Vietnam, for example, and yet the US recovered. It was still able to pull things together and do so very fast. This time, I don't see it. I don't see any sign. It's a leadership issue.
Yeah. We haven't even touched upon Turkey and Israel, and there's just all kinds of movement. It's another video, but it's a leadership issue.
Well, indeed, it's a leadership issue, absolutely.
Growler, can I interject?
Yeah, sure.
So how long is this? Oh, it hasn't got long to go by the look, has it?
No, it's only got a few minutes, but...
Oh, right, sorry, okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Point. Because, again, one doesn't get the sense that the US has a policy for Turkey. And Turkey is therefore also doing all kinds of things on its own without consulting the United States in ways which once upon a time, again, would have been inconceivable, even with a fiery character like Erdogan in charge in Turkey. It's inconceivable that the Turks would be behaving as they are. But, that's the reality. When you get a sense that, willpower and focus coming from Washington is faltering, things start to change and people's perspectives start to change. And it's amazing to see it also that, the administration talks about forging alliances and rebuilding alliances, when in reality, on the ground, those alliances are withering away.
Okay, we can stop there.
All right.
So yeah, so you can see actually what's happening, and then if you put that in the prophetic biblical term and sphere, you can actually see that alliance is very, very well advanced now. So that's why you've got problems at the Temple Mount. So that is the catalyst. That is the catalyst and the ticker for things to tick off right now. So I can, as Beck and I have discussed, we know that the white horse with the bow, the arrow is the waxer. That's how I'd like to say it. And so the next one is, that's right. So now the next horse is red. So that's the war horse. So as you can see that this is all building up extremely nicely for that to kick off. So I'm putting another, Messi is, sorry, I wouldn't know how to do it. He's the best at it. I'm putting Alexander's latest one of second latest one of the alliance between China and Russia now. So that will be in the description box, guys. I urge you to watch that. And then you'll get a much bigger picture of how the alliance is going to work. As Alexander said, Turkey is the renegade, and they're there to be looked at very, very closely. Anything that they do, look at them closely. It wouldn't surprise me if they could. I mean, Turkey have been kicked out of NATO and Ukraine's been put back in, so it wouldn't be a stretch to think, okay, well, Turkey realises they're in the crap. Okay, we better align ourselves here with Russia and China, because they're a lot stronger than what the US and NATO are now at the moment. So I just thought I'd just give you a brief sort of some brief sort of information on how things are built up and how alliances are built, and the geopolitical side of this new empire, this new communistic Marxist empire that we're currently in now. Yeah.
Right. So that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, my head is just spinning with the information, and I hope everybody got something out of that. I know, there's really deep stuff as to how this all works and goes together. At the end of the day, what I believe is these guys. Now, it says the kingdom of darkness is divided. We know that.
Yep.
So they're still fighting. They've still got infighting amongst themselves. However, the enemy of our souls, the one at the top, he is getting them all together. He is making sure that they are coming into line. So my thoughts on this is, at the end of the day, for me to wrap it up, what I think, and this is only what I think, that they are all ready to be one, and this is all a show for the public. This is all just, it's a ritual. It's just a big ritual. It's not even a show for the public. I'm sorry, I'll retract that. It is a ritual. It is part of the ritual to bring in the order, which it's already in. I mean, the order's there, guys. If anyone says we're not under it, they can't see past their nose. Now, so anything that happens from this point on, I believe, is calculated by all of them. They definitely know what's going on. They are working for Lucifer. The AC, we don't know. It's basically the beast system is the AC. We might now. There is a few of us that have been talking, and I'd like your thoughts on this, guys, in the comments section. What if there's not actually? They don't bring out an actual person, and the VC is the beast. Because you think about it, they're putting that in people, and that's going to do something, whether that goes with the 5G whiz or not, which it very well, more than likely will, having the particles in it. Just tell me what you think, guys. Maybe we're not even looking for a person. Maybe that's where we're going to fall short of the timeline. Okay. Now, in saying that, I'd also like to say that we know that we hit that 1,260 days from the September 2017 sign of the Virgin in the heavens, which could not have been done by Lucifer. It just couldn't have. Now, we are on 1,335 days. Blessed are those who make it to the 1,335 days. Okay, that 1,335 days is the 20th of May, guys. We're approaching it. Also, my wedding anniversary, which is weird. But that is the 1,335 days since the sign, the Revelation 12 sign, which is in the book of Revelation. It's all there. Now, how many people have been VC'd up to now? We've got millions and millions and millions. Biden was saying that a third of your country in the US has been done or will be done by June, by the 1st of June. And after the 1st of June, he's going to go smack bang head on with this. So think about it. Blessed are those who make it to the 1,335 days. So basically, that's only 10 days away. We've got 10 days to get our houses in order just in case. And we shouldn't be like the thief on the cross and leave it to the last minute. Oh, I won't forget, David. And anyway, I think that none of us, I was going to say, we're talking about addictions. You wouldn't have seen that, Growler, but we've been talking about addictions in the chat. People being very honest. I'm very honest about what their addictions are, and that's what we should be, because if we portray ourselves as holy and good, well, get out of here, because
that's right.
Get out, get off my stream. And I don't have anybody like that. But I tell you what, the thing is, we do need to be working on it. We do need to be actively thinking, right, we got a problem, we got to work on it. Sometimes we do, then we fall short. And as the Watchman says, the scriptures say that no drunkards, there'll be no orgies, no drunkards. Well, that's right. He's right. So we have to be very careful. Then we have people in the chat saying that smoking's okay. Well, look, I'm not here to judge. Oh, no way. I'm not here to judge at all. Because
I still smoke cigarettes, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I do. And
so do I.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
we're still
touch
here
alcohol.
for you guys.
That's right. That's right.
What has that stopped us telling you guys the truth? It
Nope.
hasn't. And the thing is, we've all got problems that we need to deal with. But in saying, I shouldn't say but, however, in saying that, I do not believe that if the rapture did come on the 20th of May, I believe that everybody who is discerning and has the Holy Spirit. Hi, Adrian. Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you, darling. I believe everybody who has the Holy Spirit, I do believe that we will be fine. Okay? Because we have this body of sin that is, it's like Paul said in the gospel. Paul said, I do the things that I don't want to do, and I don't do the things I want to do. Oh, wretched man am I. Who can save this soul, this body of death? Thanks be to Yeshua HaMashiach. Because he was saying that even though he was an apostle, he was still sinning. But not.
We all go up there with something.
But not willfully sinning. Now we got to draw the line here, So I hope you all understand what I'm saying. Now, guys, I really have to bring up a subject that is going to be quite touchy for some, but I'm going to do it. We have a guy on the internet called Pastor Wally Works, and Pastor Wally Works charmed me for so long. I told Growler, didn't I? I said, "Oh, look,
yes,
he sits at the dinner table, and his channel is called the Ghetto Gospel. That's one of them. I don't want to. I am not here to bag out anyone, but I will expose.
Yep.
Now, he just brought out a video, a 5-hour video, and I watched that, and I can tell you, he is so good. He is
Yep.
so good at deception.
Mm.
Now, what you guys need to do, like, you can hardly find any fault in that video. I'll tell you now. But that's the way he's meant it to be. That's how it's got to be for him to trick people. Okay? Now, if you go onto his website, you will see that he does hip hop videos, guys. And I hope this lady's still here I was talking to about this. He does hip hop. If you go back, there is one picture of him sitting. He's illuminated. There are wolves eating sheeps behind him, and then that's just one thing. Very, I will just say it. I'll just say it. He's demonic. There are demonic things in his video, his music clips. He attacks people. He attacks me. Look, I don't care how many people attack me. I am not going to go back on and attack them back. This is about unity and not division. Now, I am not dividing anybody from this. I am warning you. Go back, watch his other videos, pray for discernment from the Father, because he said if you ask, whatever you ask for, which is a spiritual asking thing, you will receive. Okay? You will receive the gift of discernment if you ask. Now, Wally Works is definitely, I'm not going to say the other words, but he is an occultist. Okay? Straight up and down. And he charmed me. I got sucked in, and I am not, I'll admit it. I'm not ashamed to admit it, because I didn't have the discernment that has taken me years. Even though the Father's given it to me, the enemy comes in and tries to steal it. Okay?
Yep.
So you have to really keep praying for the discernment every day. And it's despicable. Okay? What he's doing is, there's the word, despicable. He's taking what's good and leading people down the wide road. Guys, we have to go on the narrow path if we're going to get there, and it's hard. I've given up everything. I've given up music, TV. The only thing I'll do if they're watching a movie when I'm down there, I will decode it. That's all I'm doing in my head is decoding. Oh, look at that. Look at the black and white tiles. It's everywhere.
What does TV look like?
A big black, I'll tell you what it is. It's a big black scrying mirror. It is a portal into the spiritual realm that opens up doors in our own spirits. So, and this is why, like, if you watch things like funny animal videos and stuff like that, that's fine. You get a laugh out of that. That's fine. But you go watching things like Netflix movies, okay? Very, very dark. And they might look okay on the outside. But Wally uses witchcraft music in his videos in the background. Absolutely. Thank you, David Strook. Look, David and I spoke about this the other day, and it is a definite, we are not trying to lead you guys down some other path. We want you guys to be, he said, be holy as I am holy. Okay, maybe we've got addictions and that are hurting our own bodies. But when we do things like Wally does and we're leading people and hurting other people, then you're accountable. And you're accountable before the Lord Almighty, that the great I am will judge you. And I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified to do what Wally's doing. You know, it's different. Like, you have Paul and Adrian, who Paul makes some beautiful music. If you haven't seen Paul and Adrian's music, go on to Paul Mills' YouTube channel, and he writes beautiful songs. There's nothing hidden. It's right there, okay? He's not hiding anything. He's not being deceptive. But if you need to... Hi, Paul. Good to see you too. thank you for your post yesterday. And I was just saying how beautiful your music is. So if you could drop the link, Paul, for your music videos, that would be wonderful. But Wally Works is a devil. Please stay away. Please. The Father's shown me, and He told me to tell you. So I'm finished with that. I'm over with that. Okay. Now,
Okay.
what are we on? One
Okay.
hour 39. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Growler.
Right. Okay, so we're going to shift to something different, and as I did the last talk on how things are aligned, now you can see the Antichrist system, the Antichrist seat. Now, I love the Catholic people. They are lovely people, and I said this to Messi last night. I mean, if you go to Italy or something and lovely Catholic lady, and you need food, they would be the first to let you in. They would be the first to feed you. They would be the first to pray. They love Jesus, but the thing is it's the hierarchy here, the Vatican, the hierarchy. I've got nothing against the Catholic people. I love them very much. There's beautiful Catholic people out there that love Yeshua with all their hearts. I really understand that and know that, and I love those people. But they don't realise there's no Queen of Heaven. There's no Queen of Heaven in the Bible. And what they've done is, we know that the Vatican, along with the Society of Judas, that they worship Isis, Horus, Set. So what these people are doing, your top order, is deceive these poor people. And hey, look, I'll be the first to say, who wouldn't want to meet Mary? Mary was a very chosen person to. It's a big thing on your shoulders, to birth the Messiah. And like I said, I'd love to meet Mary. Who wouldn't? She's a very important lady. Yes, she is.
But
Absolutely.
She was just a woman. He called
That's correct.
Her woman.
That's correct. So they're worshipping Semiramis, and they're worshipping. They think the baby in the manger is Jesus, but they're actually worshipping Tammuz. So this is how they've deceived these people. Now, the Catholic Church of Vatican is they are the top order. They own the World Economic Forum, the IMF, they all private equity firms, world banks. The biggest bank is a bank for international settlements. They've got Swiss bank accounts, all your Feds, JP Morgan Chase, even your banks here in Australia, your Combank, NAB, Westpac, all that. That's all owned. It's all owned by them through the Rothschilds, and the Rothschilds are Jesuit foot soldiers. Now, if we go back 2,000 years, we can see who really created the first monetary system, and that was through Augustus and your Roman emperors. So basically, your first monetary system came from Egypt. So ancient Egypt has been transferred to Rome. So they're representing ancient Egypt. Now, as we know, in the days of Noah, what they were doing, splicing and dicing, your pharmakia, your sorceries, all that sort of thing, deceived all the nations. And the Vatican now have, there's two things. I'll quickly go through that. They had a massive conference. From, when was it, May 6th to May 8th. And they brought in all these dignitaries, all these speakers, and the like. Now, the RC are running another conference on June the 4th to 6th. Aliens, AI, mind, body, soul, spirit, all that sort of thing. Now, we knew that Trump actually had, in one of his executive orders for RCV, that they were going to make a big announcement about aliens at I think it was before July, which which was in the executive orders. They wanted to bring it out further, and then Trump said, no, people aren't ready yet. People aren't ready yet. So there's a big conference at the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. about aliens, AI. Yeah. But I'll talk about this first one. This first one is about mind, body, soul, spirit. If you have a look at the Cura Foundation, they've got the Ouroboros and all the colours going around it. The Catholics, they own all the Freemason hospitals. They own all the St. Vincent's, St. John's. They own all the hospitals. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. So what they've done, they've had a massive conference at the Vatican between May the 6th to 8th. So what I want to do, if you have a look at STEM for Life, and if you go into the description box, we'll put that in the description. So if you have a look at the sponsors, the Cura Foundation, STEM for Life, and all that sort of thing. The STEM for Life has got a key, and it's in the shape of a cross with satanic devil wings at the top and two snakes wrapped around it. So this is, and the Vatican is pushing the jibby harder than anybody. So it goes to show you it all comes from here. And we know that Francis has called for the Great Reset. Now, I've had a look at the name, the Great Reset. Now, the Great Reset, I think is for everything to be reset. I think that actually refers to Great Tribulation. That's the Great Tribulation. Yep. If you have a look at the Great Reset, the Great Tribulation. So I just want to go through here. I won't go through all of them. I'll just go through the big boys. So of course we've got the so-called God here, the Holy Father. And I'll say things off camera better. And so you've got your Cardinal Parolin, Vatican Secretary of State. If we keep going down to the next one, now this guy here, he is the Sovereign Order of Malta. So that is part of the military arm of the Vatican. And I just got to. I think my power is running out. I'm trying to. Just bear with me. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Sure, no problem.
Sorry.
Do you want me to?
I'm trying to come back up. No, I've got it here. That's right. Okay.
Got it. There's actually an extension lead out there, mate. If you want one.
Yeah. I've got that. I'm trying to.
All right, can I just say something? We got some amazing speakers coming onto this, and we've got actors. We have. I don't want to ruin it for when we go down. There's someone in here, guys. You're all going to go, well, what the heck are these two people doing there? Now you wait till you see who's in here, and you're going to go, why? This is crazy. And I tell you what, these are all the spawn of the fallen, and they have taken over. These are the spawn of the 200 that went down on Mount Hermon, and this is their populace, and they have enough of them, and they have got it to the point where they got in power everywhere, and now they are ready to spring. Now, 2022, 222 is BBB, Build Back Better. What are they building back better? They're building back what they wanted, what was supposed to be happening before the flood. Before the flood, that's what they're building. Okay, and that doesn't include you and I. You know, it really doesn't. I can tell you now. And those of us who refuse this BC, if you're praying, I truly, 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 truly believe we will be either invisible or just maybe there'll be literal angels that show up that are standing there with us. I wouldn't be surprised. It goes back to the days of Noah. Well, let's see where that goes then, because these things are going to be birthed from the women who have the VC, who are already having miscarriages by the thousands. And my daughter's looked into this, and she's woken up. Now, look, they are going to be birthing things that are not just full babies. I'm trying to speak in code because I don't want to get another strike on the live stream. They took us off for like 9 months, man. It was horrible. So look, are you back? Are you right? Because you know that phrase, yeah, Trump won. The UN loves to use that phrase, build back better. BBB is 222. The Father has been showing Growler and I 222 everywhere. It has got to the point of ridiculism. I love that word, ridiculism, because he is just showing us, he's confirming. If something happens and I'm not sure and I ask him, I'll get confirmation. Believe me, every time. So, guys, really pray for confirmation if you're not sure about something, okay? And if you're watching other people's YouTube channels, make sure you go back and watch other stuff that they've done so you can discern, because the discernment is the most important part in all of this. Okay, Messi, do you just want to? We've had a problem with Growler, unless Messi's gone down to help him. Messi, can you just do the next lot of people who are on this, please? Let's see if I've lost both of them. Looks like I'm running on my own here, guys. Let's read some of your comments. Is anyone out there aware of the repercussions of the unVC'd who have received blood? Someone's ringing me. This is not good. I'll just have to go back to the chat. Sorry about that, guys. Now we go back to, I've got to find that. Is anyone aware? What did it say? It looked like I needed to read that. Okay, so. Sorry, Missy. Yeah, sure. Yeah, they've just got a bit of a problem down there. I think they're trying to hook up the extension lead or something. So here's Growler. Here, hey man.
Hey mate.
If I take my headphones off, I don't know if we can both talk.
No, that's all right.
Can anybody hear Growler? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear Growler? Can you talk?
Hi guys.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear Growler? Guys, anybody out there? Can you hear me? Yeah, my mic. So you can hear Growler? Yes? Yes. Okay, so here we go. Yep. Here he goes.
We can, yeah, I'll just go through these ones here. So, okay, so as you guys can see, you've got the Pontifical Council for Culture, you've got the founder, president, chairman of the Cura Foundation, STEM for Life, and vice president, director of Science and Faith. Science and faith do not go together. Head of Science and Faith, Department of the Pontifical Council of Culture, General Secretary of Science.
Very weak, can't hear Growler.
Okay.
Hang on, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually going to take my Bluetooth off. Just bear with us. Please don't go. Please don't go. I'm going to take the Bluetooth off so we can just both talk through.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, guys, can you hear me? Just let us know in the chat. We're just going to jump back on. Sorry about that. We did have some tech issues. So Becky's just checking the chat at the moment. Okay, so everything's cool? Okay. So we will, sorry, like I said, sorry about that, guys. So what we're doing is this talk with this big Vatican conference from May 6 to 8. Has all the bosses from Pfizer, Moderna, from Salesforce, from every medical part of the medical establishment. They have Cindy Crawford there. They have guy for the guitarist from Aerosmith. Joe Perry, is it? Yes. Okay. And ask yourself, yeah, why? Well, I guess it's a bit more of a kicker for the Vatican to make sure that they look big and swanky and cool, the whole lot. So I'm going to get Messi to keep scrolling down with all the speakers and who is part of all this. Not there at the moment. Yeah, yep. He's just had to pop out for a cuppa. Yep. Tell him he had a cuppa and didn't even make me one. I'll try and send a cuppa through the chat for you guys, but probably be cold by the time it gets there. So Messi will, when he can, go into the speakers and presenters. And yeah, I urge you to actually have a look at all the subheadings up the top, and you can actually get a bit more of a gist of what's happening. So just bear with us there for a sec, and Messi will get that done. And thank you for listening, guys, to my rambling on. I didn't mean to ramble on as much today, but I thought it was very important to present the whole information as best as I could. So it helps you guys understand as well. So so you know where we are on the political, the prophetic and biblical timelines. We're all trying to get as close as we can and see how close it is. So it's quite hard, but nothing good hard study won't fix. Just bear with me there for a sec. Oh, okay. I'm good to go down back to my computer, actually. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm going to let Beck talk to you because she's much better than me. So here she is.
Thank you. Vampire bat on. No, he's got his vampire bat shirt, but it was an air show shirt, and I said to him, "Oh, I don't know if you should wear that shirt. It's a bit, how you going? Can we go down, Missy? Can we go down, scroll down to a few more of these people? Yep. So we go speakers, and let's have a look at their pictures. So they're just, pretty much no names, but you can read what they are. But keep going. Okay, and keep going because we can come. Yeah, I can. So we can come back up. I don't think there's anyone here he's really going to want to point out, except keep going down.
There's
going down, and keep going down.
Just
I'll let you go back.
Actually.
There's Cindy Crawford. Yeah. No, hang on. I just want to get these ones done first. Can I just scroll down, please, Miss? Up, please, Missy. Up, please, Missy. No, the other way. I must be backwards. There we go. There she is, Cindy Crawford, model and entrepreneur. And keep going, please. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, there's Anthony Fauci, by the way. There he is.
Yep.
And keep going.
The little Jesuit.
Keep going. Is Joe Perry? Keep going. We've got to find this. It's just out of this world. Keep going. How many people are there? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Let's see his face even here. Oh, wow. Brandon Marshall. That's another very questionable one. There he is. All right. Second on the end. The second from the end. Joe Perry. Now I'll let you in on who Joe Perry is. He is the lead guitarist, Grammy Award-winning songwriter, co-founder of the American rock and roll band Aerosmith. What? Please entertain me and tell me what Cindy Crawford and Joe Perry are doing at this conference. Guys, we got to think about this. These are the spawn of the fallen. That's why. And that's why they're all in the high places. The bands, the actors, the top MDs, the top PhDs. Okay, I've taken over enough. You can go back and say what you like now. Sorry,
No, that's all right. Can I get you to... That's all right. I know you couldn't wait. So we'll go up towards the top, and then we'll work our way down. There's just a few people. We'll just so scroll down. Sorry, mate. Let's keep scrolling. Okay, so we'll go there. We've got Paul Bloom, PhD. He is from the Brooks and Suzanne regime, Professor of Psychology at Yale University, and we know what happens at Yale University, skull and bones. We have the Chair and CEO of Salesforce. I urge you to have a look at Salesforce. They are eating up businesses and consolidating into basically one entity, and they actually work in concert with Serco, which is a UK-based company, which work as well with the GTA Chinese Foundation. So what they do is they do genome sequencing, the swabs that get put up people's noses. This is like I said, they work. That's what Serco is. Now, Serco is a UK-based company that Prince William and all the other lizards have a part of that company as well. If we go, so we've got Nir Bazali MD, which is he's a chairman of aging research, professor of medicine and genetics. So you've got a lot of geneticists in here. You've got Stephen Bangal, who is chief executive officer of Moderna. And if we keep going down, sorry, mate, and just there, just a little bit more down there. Thanks, buddy. So you've got Bloomberg. You have the chairman and CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, DVM, PhD. He is a CEO of Pfizer. You have, I'm sorry about that. You have the executive chairman here of Firefly Health. So you can see all these health companies, geneticists, your big pharma for Pfizer, Moderna. If we keep going down. Okay, and of course Chelsea, isn't she lovely? Or he, whatever you want to call him. We have Deepak Chopra. Deepak Chopra is one of the biggest New Age gurus in the world. He's founder of and Chopra Foundation and founder of Chopra Global. Now, I'd urge you to go into Chopra Global and have a look at what they do. And these guys are talking in Rome. Now, what I've done is I've basically gone into every single person's here background and what they do. It actually gives me a much complete and full picture of actually what they're doing. And well, like I said, and a lot of people know with the Jibby, we know that it's recombinant chimeric DNA, which is recombination, combining Satan seed and what
With
they were doing in the
ours.
days of. That's right. That's right.
The
So that's why
iron
they
and the
call it.
miry clay. Iron and the
Yep.
miry clay.
Absolutely. You've got Ellen Wright Clayton, MD/JD. Now she is a professor of pediatrics. Go figure. Because if you've actually watched the news for the last 2 weeks, they've actually given a go-ahead to inject 12 to 15-year-olds with Pfizer now, and they're doing trials with from 2 months to 6-month-year-old babies as well. So she's professor of the Health Policy Center for Biomedical Ethics, which aren't very ethical, and the Society of Vanderbilt University Medical. I urge you to really have a look into that one. So we'll keep going down. Okay, and yeah, now anyone that gets their information, economic information, like real estate, crypto markets, all this sort of thing. Ray Dalio, he's got a massive YouTube channel. He's actually Jesuit trained. He's part of the Knights of Malta. Same with Bill Gates. He's a Knight of Malta. You have a look at Klaus Schwab, the Jesuit Knight of Malta. You have a look at George Soros, another Knight of Malta. Everything goes back to these guys. It's just unreal. And you've got the top psychiatrists from the University of Wisconsin, which is Richard Davidson, and like I said, Ray Dalio. So if you have a look at him, you've got to read between the lines with these people. They're going to mix lies with truth, and so that's why you want to go to about 5, 6, or 7 other different independent sources, and then cross-reference that. You come up with a much more balanced point of view, and actually direction as well. So you've got John Crowley, Chairman and Board of CEO of, I can't see that, Amicus Therapeutics. So if we go down, therapeutics, geneticists, economists, we'll just keep going down. Sorry, buddy. A bit more, thanks, mate. And so you can just have a quick look at all these people. Now, a lot of these reverends, you see, he's assisting teaching professor of Department of Theology, University at Notre Dame. So they're all linked. That's all I can say.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Yeah. I mean,
you've got others here that were for that we haven't even covered. MIT,
that's
Harvard.
Right.
We got, like you said, we got Yale, Skull and Bones, 322.
Yep.
They're all in it. They're there. So we're ready to go. They're ready to go. Listen, guys, they're ready to go. This is the big push, okay?
Absolutely. So what I'll do is I'm going to leave that in the description box, and we'll just go to the last one. And I mean, it just gets more ridiculous and more ridiculous. It really does.
Right, hang in there, guys, because after this last one, we're going to have a prayer, okay?
Yeah.
And we're going to ask if anybody needs to give their life, because there is only one way out of this. There's only one.
That's right.
You can't. There is no. There is no hiding under a rock and hoping that you'll be fine. Okay, here we go. Look at this one.
Yep. Global citizen. Now, if you have a look at what the UN are doing, they're going to initiate people into being a global citizen. So that means you have to join the UN Global Citizen. Now, back in October, I think it was, or maybe September 2019, Francis came out and he said, we all have to obey the UN. So the beast, which is the Vatican, gave its power to the UN for of course, uniting the whole world to be a global citizen, as all Western countries now are all under the UN. Everyone's under EU AX with the Jibby. Constitutions have been suspended through emergency powers, all this sort of thing. So it's already started. Now, you got a concert called Vax Live, the concert to reunite the world.
You can't make this stuff up.
You can't tell me.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so excited
yeah.
because it's all
Gee,
in your face.
That's it. Oh, well, I can tell you, yeah, it's such a pandemic that they've got to push it this hard. You know, that's what I can't understand.
Hey, they give free alcohol in Israel if you go get it.
That's right, or a donut, whatever you want. Yeah, why
That's
not?
in America.
Yeah, give you a soul up for a
crispy,
donut.
crusty, stupid donut for a
Yeah.
jab. Oh, wow.
Okay. Hope to Vax Live. We need light and hope. That sounds pretty new age to me. And paths of healing and salvation. So the Vax is their healing and salvation. So they're putting their faith in sorceries, pharmakia, and everything else that Satan wants to throw in into the crap. So if we can just go down a little bit more. I'm sorry about that, mate. So I'm just going to read a few little things. I'm not going to waste your time here. Receive a cordial greeting from this old man who does not dance or sing like you, but who believes as you do that injustice and evil are not invincible, said Pope Francis in a video message to the participants at Vax Live, the concert to reunite the world. The event, which takes place on Saturday, aims to celebrate the hope at CVC19 Wax Deans are offering families and communities around the world. It is also part of the growing chorus of voices seeking wider and more equitable distribution of jibs, need for healing from the roots. Amid the darkness and uncertainty brought about by the ongoing pandemic, we need light and hope. We need paths of healing and salvation, Pope Francis says. So what he's doing, I'm going to let you guys read the lot. I'm not going to go through it all. I've already read it and thrown up. So you can actually see that what they're doing is they're putting all, now you put your faith in pharmakia, you put your faith in splicing and dicing, as in the days of Noah. You don't need to put your faith in Yeshua anymore. You put your faith in us, and we will lead you down the garden path. That's what we'll lead you to hell, and which is lovely of them, you know. But there's so many people who are just not awake. I mean, I'm thinking if, let's say, even though I was a lukewarmer and I saw this, my mind would change in 2 seconds. It would change in 2 seconds. Something's wrong here, you know. And you do not see them. Do you ever see Francis say, "Oh, look, don't take this. Just put your faith in Yeshua. That's his job." But we know that the Vatican is an extension, well, basically replaced from ancient Egypt to Rome. So I'll let you guys read all through that. They've got everything through there. Actually, yeah, thanks, Messi. Yeah, he added that God instills in our hearts a new and generous spirit that enables us to abandon individualism in order to promote the common good. Abandon individualism. So you have to join the system. Isn't that amazing? And yeah, like I said, thank God thank the Father I had breakfast earlier on, so my stomach's quite settled at the moment. But I mean, guys, go through that, see what you think. Well, I already know what you're going to think, but just share it. Just share it with anyone and everyone you can. That's basically all I can say. So I just want to thank you guys for actually listening to my dribble, and hopefully you learned something today. And I really implore you to go through all of Alexander Mercurios's videos and how the geopolitical world of subversion, intrigue, war, different levels and strategies of warfare, and how they fight on a multi-pronged front. So I think that's extremely important to know, because that's actually going to give you a timeline to actually see what's going on, and you get a better overall view of how the coalition against Israel is going to form.
All right. Awesome.
Yep.
Thank you so much for all that information. I'm
No,
sure
that's fine.
everybody's appreciated it. It's just
Uh-huh.
wonderful to I know how much research this man does, guys. He is continuously, but without, I don't know how he does it without going crazy. He's very strong-minded, very straight, sober, does not drink, does not take drugs. He is but he's, like he said, he smokes cigarettes. That's his one little thing. But I tell you what, he puts a lot of time and effort into this. I tend more to look at other things, like try and figure out their plans through the occult, and that was where that's where the Father gave me my gift, and I couldn't be bothered talking about any of that today because you've done an excellent job. But I did want to say, if you go, I did leave a comment, guys, but if you go to the Mariah Carey where she got the VC, the needle, it was one of those needles that retracts, it goes back into itself, and the guy slips as well, and you can see it very well. I look, I don't know if that's still up. That was a couple of weeks ago, but this is just rubbish. They're not taking it, or they're taking Celine. So listen, anybody who is listening to this, please do not take the VC. Please, your soul depends on it, and it is not who you will not be who you are after you take it. And we love you enough to tell you that. And so I am just happy that we've done this stream. I did want to tell you the next stream. Now listen, guys, this is important. We will start anyways. We'll start it. There'll be a couple of different topics we cover as usual, but we're going to start it with some footage that I have received from you guys that you've emailed me of things in the sky. Now, if any more of you have any footage of anything you've caught, the UFOs, could you please send it to me? Because I have a few, okay? And I would like, because this is from real people. We're not getting this from, some source that we don't know. It could be faked. It could be anything. So please, guys, if you've got any videos that you've caught, send them to me, please. Okay. I'm just dropping the link for my our email address now. There it is. Anything you have that you think is worthwhile to share. So, Father in heaven, thank you for this fellowship. Thank you so much. Thank you for all my friends that here there are so many to mention, and they all know who they are. I pray the precious blood that was shed for us, that was the one and only sacrifice that cleansed us, that makes us pure. We cannot come to you without being under the covering of Yeshua. I thank you for this time together. It brings joy to us. I thank you that you will protect each and every person listening to this stream and their extended families who they live with, protect their households and their pets. Father, you know who they are, and just every time they pray, Father, give them strength. Let them know that you're beside them. Let them know you're walking right with them like you do with me. Let them hear your voice like I do. In my spirit, I hear your voice. Please help us, please. Please. This is the time that the apostles wanted to see. But I start to think, if they were really here, would they have wanted to really see this? Because this is the end, my friends. And I love you. And I thank you, Father, that you will help us all endure to the end. You said those who endure to the end will be saved. And I believe that. So the blood of Yeshua, your elect one, over each and every one of us and our families. Thank you, Father in heaven. I love you. And in your precious Son's name, thank you. So be it. Wow. I'm really happy. I feel a lot of joy in my spirit. Are you still there, Growler? I think he's gone.
Now I am. Now I am.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee, you're loud.
Yeah.
Geez, you're
Oh,
loud.
sorry.
That's okay. I think you missed the prayer, but
No. I could hear the prayer, and I just turned off
good.
the mics because I've
Is
got.
Western Warrior here? Oh, Western Warrior. I'm sure it was Western Warrior who sent me some awesome UFO videos. Could you please confirm that right now, if that was you, Western Warrior? The one where you caught it and it was in the cloud and it was just such a you could just see it perfectly. I think I did a post of it, but I want to bring it up on a video with some others. So if that was you, Western Warrior, just let me know. If that was you that sent me that. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
Wow. Guess what? 222.
Yep.
Wow. That's
Feel back better.
it's everywhere.
So
I did
it's
not.
gonna be-
I wasn't. I didn't even look at that until then. I just want to say a big shout out to our beautiful friends Paul and Adrian. Thank you so much for joining the stream tonight, guys. I have tried to ring you guys a couple of times. I'll try again. I know you guys are busy. I am too. It's just life's a bit crazy, so I know what it's like. And any others of you that I have your phone numbers for, you will be getting calls. So we love you and thank you so much for joining us. Hey, Growler, what do you reckon?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Thanks very much, guys. Like I said, for listening and tuning in. And as I said to Beck before, what happened and what's going to happen at the Temple Mount. War has been declared now. So you're going to see the Islamic Caliphate rise now. They're going to enforce the Noahide laws along with the Jews, and I think, especially after Ramadan, May 13th, whether the parade goes ahead in Israel. If it does go ahead, I'm predicting something pretty big to happen, which will be the double kicker to start the war. Basically start the war. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. That's just from my observations, because that would be a great target for them, and for them to hit Israel back with Israeli security forces and government going into the mosque and desecrating the so-called desecrating their mosque. So that is my prediction. So we'll just wait and see. So just keep your eyes on the timepiece.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't look like it's going to be long. Yeah, the House of Cards is coming down. The dominoes are set. They are stacked. And that could have been the first one flicked, because I knew for 30 years in my spirit, for 30 years, I was told 30 years ago that when anything happens at that Temple Mount or the Dome of the Rock, that it's on.
And you picked May. You picked May. So good one.
I picked May.
Yes,
Father told me. No, Father told me a year ago that it would be this May that something would happen. And I'm not a prophet. I don't go, this will happen or that will happen. He tells me, watch, something will happen.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, guys. We love you all so much. Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Keep us in your prayers as we do for you, because I always pray for all the family, all our family. Okay, so we're going to sign off.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks.
We'll
see you
okay,
soon.
so we will see you soon. This is Beck and Growler, and we are out.